Hi, I'm Jeff Donaker. I live here in the Bay Area, California Bay Area, and I have red-green color blindness.
Okay, so red-green color blindness, we just sort of heard about that for the first time in the course, and we're learning a bit more about the inheritance patterns. What is red-green color blindness? What does it mean to be red-green colorblind?
Well, to me, what it means is that I often mix up colors that have red in them. And so in particular, I mix up reds and browns and sometimes browns and greens because I'm not seeing the red correctly in those. Sometimes it can even show up in the form of blues and purples. I'm sort of seeing them all as about the same, and in fact, they may look different to other people.
So would it be accurate in saying it's just they kind of look like darker colors, or is it something about the shade maybe?
I'm not really sure. I think that the way to think about it, for me, is that sometimes what you may be seeing as the red in a particular orange, for instance, to me, I'm not seeing the red the same way you are. So I'm seeing it maybe like a dark yellow. And so I still certainly see the world in a vibrant, colorful way, and it's not so like black and white or anything like that. I just see it differently than everybody else who doesn't see it in red-green color.
It's such a great, literal and metaphorical statement. I think a lot of people do go through life thinking, the assumption this is the color vision, this is the vision I have, but not everybody literally sees the world in the same spectrum.
That's right.
When did you first know that you had red-green color blindness?
I don't really remember. It was when I was a really young child. My uncle had been red-green colorblind, and then actually my mom's uncle as well. So I think I inherited it from her side. And so when I was a little kid, she recognized that I might be colorblind, or I had this propensity. And so she had me tested at one of the eye doctors with looking at those little bubble charts with colors that you may remember having taken at some point.
Sure. And for anybody who may not be familiar with those, what can you describe that bubble chart a little more?
Sure, it's basically a lot of little dots, and those dots typically show some sort of a picture or character or letter that a red-green colorblind person may not be able to pick out the particular picture or letter that everybody else, it pops out. So for instance, back to my yellow-orange analogy, you may have two different shades of orange in there that to you look really obviously different, and to me look actually about the same. So I'm not seeing that letter that's popping out of the picture, and you are.
So as you've grown up, and even now as an adult, how does red-green colorblindness affect your daily life? Do you have, what kind of special, if anything, sort of interactions you have to go through to accommodate?
Not much. When I clothes shop, online certainly helps these days because the colors are all labeled. When I go clothes shopping in a store, I'll often ask the retail person just to sanity check, what color is this? If it's blue, I'm generally pretty sure I'm okay, or black, or things like that. But if I'm getting something that's in the green spectrum, I'll want a sanity check that it's what I think it is, and it's not some version of orange or something that people are going to comment on. Mm-hmm. So that's one way. Another way is just periodically things that look camouflaged to me won't be camouflaged to other people. So for instance, my kids the other day were playing with an orange ball in the yard, and to me, when it dropped in the grass, it was almost camouflaged in the grass, and they thought that was the funniest thing in the world, because to them this orange is just totally popping off the lawn.
Have you ever not been able to participate in something or anything because of the color blindness or anything like that, or have you pretty much always been able to find some workaround? If it was an issue, you could, it was always doable?
Yeah, I mean, as a general statement, it's really never been a big deal. I certainly remember a couple times as a kid where I felt a little left out or picked on during art projects at school where, inevitably I'd pick the wrong color. You were supposed to do something that was brown and I picked green or something of that nature, and then the other kids would tease me. And I really remember maybe 2 or 3 of these incidents, but you certainly work around it and somebody points you to the right color and you keep moving. So never been a big deal by any means, but there's certainly a little bit of that, like you are a little bit different from the way everybody else is seeing it.
If someone's watching this and they're like, oh, I wonder if I'm colorblind, or maybe someone's recently found out they are, or someone they know is, what advice would you give to somebody who may have recently found out that they are red-green colorblind? And of course there are other kinds of colorblindness too. What advice would you give to them?
I guess first point would simply be, it's not that big a deal. So, roll with it and enjoy the fact that you're seeing the world in a slightly different color hue than everybody else is. And then the other one would be, when you're picking clothes, ask a friend or the sales associate at the store just so that you know what you're buying.
Sure.